Usually we start these deep dives with, a rhetorical question or maybe a surprising stat.
Something to ease you in.
Exactly. But today we are starting with a declaration of war. I'm not exaggerating.
No, you're really not.
The title of the source material we're looking at is, and I quote, "Fuck the corporation's power to the people, this time for real."
I mean, that'll certainly wake you up, won't it?
Right. It's not your typical corporate white paper.
Not even close.
It's aggressive. It's totally in your face. But here's the thing. Once you get past that initial blast of anger, there is this fascinating, really detailed manifesto underneath it.
Yeah, there's a lot of substance there.
We're looking at a conversation and a proposal from a guy named Bo at World Peace Engine Labs, and the date on this is Monday, February 2, 2026.
And that date is important. It puts this whole thing in a very specific context. This isn't just about, a software update. We're exploring something called Cloud Atlas OS.
Right.
And Bo, the creator, he's not just pitching an app. He is pitching a complete replacement for the global economy, specifically the gig economy.
The whole premise is basically this. We are living in a digital prison. The user experience of modern life is a horror show, and the only way out is to, burn the current model to the ground and replace it with a peer-to-peer network.
So yeah, buckle up. We're going to unpack the grievances, the solution, and the massive ambition and the controversy behind this whole project.
And what really stands out to me right away is that this isn't just tech rage, although there is definitely plenty of that.
Yeah.
It's a structural critique of what we call platform capitalism. It asks a really uncomfortable question. Why do we accept these broken tools and, frankly, exploitative economics just because they're convenient?
Okay, let's start where Bo starts, the problem. He calls it the UX horror show.
A great name for it.
I think anyone listening to this is going to relate to this on a visceral level.
Yeah.
He lists these grievances that just make you nod your head and go, yes, why is this my life? It's the death by 1,000 cuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not one big system failure. It's a million tiny frustrations that just drain you every day.
Exactly. One of the first things he goes after is smart functions. The stuff that's supposed to help us.
Supposed to.
He calls autofill double refill. He talks about the rage of just trying to type a dot or a simple word, and the system is automatically marking, deleting, or inserting things you didn't ask for.
It's supposed to be smart, but he calls them stupid functions.
Which feels more accurate most of the time.
It's a loss of agency. That's the core of it. You end up fighting the tool that is supposed to be serving you.
Yeah.
And he connects this directly to the surveillance part of our devices. The source mentions that eerie thing. We've all felt it, where you're having a private chat about, say, camping gear.
And suddenly your phone is just flooded with ads for tents.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like you're living with a spy in your pocket.
Oh, constantly. But then, and this is the irony, Bo points out, when you actually try to use the device to do some research on Google, you get hit with the "Are you a robot?" interrogation.
That is such a profound irony. The device tracks your very human conversations to sell you stuff. But when you want to access information, you have to prove you're not a machine.
It's maddening.
Bo describes this robot loop. You get slowed down, you have to click on all the traffic lights in a picture. Eventually, you get a forbidden error.
And then you're forced to clear your cookies and your history, which of course leads to the absolute nightmare of resetting every single password because you wiped your cache.
It's a cascade of wasted time, a total downward spiral.
But the grievance that really hit home for me, especially for anyone who travels, is what he calls geolocation hell.
Oh, this is a major point in the source.
Yeah.
We live in this globalized world, but our digital tools are obsessively local and rigid. Bo mentions getting medical advice based on outdated policies in Vietnam just because he had been there before. The system couldn't update to his current reality. It just locked him into his past.
Or worse, getting flagged as a red flag or even a potential terrorist just for being a digital nomad.
Right.
He talks about how Europeans can legally live anywhere in Europe, but the Know Your Customer, or KYC providers, treat you like a criminal if you move around. You change your SIM card, and bam, you're locked out of your own bank account.
It's the corporate algorithm versus actual human life, and the algorithm always wins.
And then there's the lack of recourse. He calls customer support a black hole.
Because it is.
You find a niche bug, you report it, and just silence. Nothing. Errors can persist for months, even years, because the corporation just doesn't care about your specific little problem.
There's no feedback loop.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we had to talk about the Grab anecdote.
Yes, this story really explains why Bo is so angry. It's not just about bad software, it's about, like, bad morality.
Right, so he's in Malaysia, he's using the rideshare app Grab.
Standard gig economy stuff.
Exactly. He orders a ride for 60 ringgit, confirms the price, all good.
A totally normal transaction. He agrees to pay X, he expects to pay X.
But when they arrive, the price jumps to 70 ringgit. The app tacked on a toll fee that wasn't disclosed up front.
Oh, of course it did.
So he complains. As he puts it, he lits fire in the email.
And here's the kicker. This is the part that gets me.
The corporation refunds his money. They say sorry about that. But then they tell him, almost happily, that they gave the driver a strike.
That's the moment the system just shows its true colors. The user was cheated by the app's lack of transparency. He complained about the system.
But the system punished the worker.
Every time.
It's a mechanism to just deflect all blame downward. So Bo says he was left having to defend the driver against this brain-dead corporation. It's a lose-lose situation.
The passenger's annoyed, the driver gets penalized, and the algorithm just keeps humming along, taking its cut.
He actually compares the state of tech today to the movie Idiocracy.
Waiting for them to water the fields with Gatorade. It's a funny line, but it points to a really serious fear. That our systems are becoming so automated and so disconnected from common sense that they're actively making us dumber and poorer.
So that's the hellscape. That's the horror show.
Right. And if we stop there, this would just be a complaint session. But the deep dive here is about the solution.
Enter Cloud Atlas OS, which he pitches as Google Earth for the people, not against them.
Okay, this is where we need to get into the nuts and bolts. Because fighting the system is a nice slogan, but how do you actually do it?
Bo's philosophy seems to be, don't hate the player, hate the game. He says, I fuck systems, never humans.
So he's not anti-CEO, personally.
No, not at all. He doesn't care if a billionaire makes a bit less money. His whole problem is with siloed power. He believes that 8 billion human minds are way better at solving problems than a few elites in some closed-off lab.
And he promises a 100% safe transition for the current employees. He wants to bring them into the new system, not, ruin their lives, but the economics. This is where it gets really radical.
Yeah, the viral script for the gig economy.
The Script One campaign.
Exactly. The argument is that right now, platforms like Uber or Upwork take this massive cut, sometimes up to 50% if you factor in all the hidden fees.
So the worker makes less, the customer pays more, and the middleman just pockets the difference.
And the Cloud Atlas model?
Tell us.
99% goes directly to the worker.
Yeah.
1% goes to maintaining the infrastructure.
99-1. Wow. That's not just a disruption, that's an eviction. You're removing the landlord entirely.
It completely changes the relationship. The slogan is, I'm not working for the platform anymore. The platform works for me. If you do a $100 job, you keep $99.
Okay, I hear that. And my wallet definitely likes the sound of that. But I have to play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
We just spent 10 minutes talking about how awful the user experience is on current apps. The reason we pay that 30% or 50% cut is because Uber and Upwork, they build the app. They maintain the servers. They hire the designers.
Sure, that's the justification.
So if you get rid of that money, don't you also get rid of the quality? How does Cloud Atlas OS fix the stupid functions with only 1% funding?
That is the billion-dollar question. And Bo's answer is a feature they call Fix Improve mode.
Okay.
From a software development point of view, it's wild. The idea is that every single element on your screen gets a number assigned to it.
Like a paint-by-numbers overlay for your screen.
Exactly like that. So let's say button number 5 is annoying you. Maybe it's too small or in the wrong spot. You don't need to know how to code. You just say, make number 5 a drop-down menu or fix number 17.
And what happens then? It doesn't just go into that customer support black hole.
No, it automatically becomes a GitHub issue.
Okay, hold on. For anyone who isn't a coder, what does that actually mean? A GitHub issue?
So GitHub is basically where all the code lives online. An issue is a transparent to-do list item for the developers. So your complaint goes directly to the community of developers who are building the whole system.
And they just see it.
They see it, the community validates it, and then they build it. It's crowdsourced development in real time.
So if I'm a user and I hate how something works, I can just say so and the community actually fixes it.
That is the promise. And there's another layer to this that I find really fascinating. There is no uniform UI.
What does that mean?
You know how everyone panics when Instagram or Twitter changes their layout and you're stuck with it?
Oh, I hate that. Suddenly the search bar is gone or everything's a video. It messes with your muscle memory.
Right. Well, in Cloud Alice OS, if you don't like an update, you can roll back just that one feature, you can stay on the version you like, or move forward to a new one.
So you customize your own experience.
Exactly. It completely flips the traditional development cycle on its head. Instead of a corporate team deciding what's best for a billion users, the users build the interface that actually works for them.
It sounds chaotic, but also incredibly liberating. It's almost like digital democracy.
Or digital anarchy, depending on your point of view, but it's definitely user-owned.
So who is this aimed at? Bo has a list. He calls it the enemy of mankind list.
Which, again, very subtle branding.
Very. Let's just run through some of these targets to get a sense of the scope. Number one, obviously, ride sharing. Uber, Lyft, Bolt, Via.
The pioneers of the gig model. Prime targets, for sure.
Food delivery. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Deliveroo.
High fees, low driver retention. Makes sense.
Freelance services. Upwork, Fiverr, TopTal.
That's where those 20% to 50% cuts really hurt professional workers.
But it goes deeper. Home services like TaskRabbit, accommodation like Airbnb and Booking.com, pet services, tutoring, even photography and wellness app.
The scope is total. He's not trying to build a niche app for, dog walkers. He's trying to build a universal infrastructure that replaces the middleman in every single transaction where one human provides a service to another.
It's so ambitious. Some would say it's impossible. And this is where I get stuck on the how. How do you run a global network like Airbnb or Uber on a 1% fee? Servers cost money. Data costs money.
Right. The internet isn't free.
So how?
Bo addresses this. He insists this isn't vaporware. The site is live at cloudatlas.club. But crucially, he clarifies the tech stack. He says they have a centralized stack, like normal apps do, but it only exists as a fallback.
Okay.
The primary network is a decentralized peer-to-peer mainnet.
All right, break that down for me. P2P. Why does that matter for the cost?
Okay, think of a centralized app, like a giant warehouse. All the data, all the traffic, it has to go through that one warehouse. It's huge, it's expensive, it needs tons of electricity. That's Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud.
Right, and those costs get passed on to us in the fees?
Exactly. P2P, peer-to-peer, is more like a potluck dinner. There is no warehouse. Everyone just brings a little bit of the food. In technical terms, the computing power and storage are shared across all the user's devices.
So if you remove the central server costs,
your overhead drops to near zero. And that's how you can afford to give the worker 99%.
that makes sense. The users are the network, but he also says the system is intentionally left partially unfinished, which sounds like a bug, not a feature.
It's a psychological trick, really. If you give someone a finished product, they just consume it. They're a passive user. But if you give them something that's unfinished,
They have to help build it.
they become an active participant. It forces that community ownership right from day one.
Okay, so let's apply this. The first mission is Project P2P Ride Shares. Bo breaks down how a ride would actually work, and he keeps saying, no magic, just logic.
It's a demystification of the tech. We tend to think of Uber as this magical thing. Bo says, no. A guest places a request on a map. A driver accepts and gets the location. They use Google Maps to navigate, which already exists. They use existing payment methods.
When you put it that way, the app itself is just a very, very thin connecting layer.
Exactly. It doesn't justify taking 30% or 30% of the entire fare.
The value the corporation provides has become totally inflated compared to the actual service.
Precisely.
And here's where we have to address the elephant in the room, the really big, angry elephant.
Taxes.
The source material brings it up, a very controversial point. Taxes.
Yeah. This is the part where the power to the people rhetoric hits the hard wall of government regulation. Bo asks a very provocative question. He says, how do we make sure drivers pay up to 60% of their income in taxes to governments that produce little to no productive value?
Whoa. Okay. That sounds, is he suggesting tax evasion?
It's a heavy statement, and it is important to note the source explicitly says this is not about tax evasion. He clarifies that point.
Okay, so if it's not tax evasion, what is it?
It's about refusing what he calls opaque extractive intermediaries, whether that's a corporation taking fees or a government agency that isn't providing clear value for the tax it's collecting.
I see.
Bo proposes that a registry could exist for safety and compliance, but, and this is the key part, it has to be designed publicly.
Not imposed top-down by rich people and PhD holders. That's the quote from the text.
Exactly.
Hmm.
He wants the tax and regulatory rules to be debated and built by the people who are actually driving the cars and cleaning the houses. It's consistent with the whole philosophy.
Yeah.
Radical transparency and user ownership of everything, even the laws.
It's a lot to process. We're talking about rewriting the social contract of work here. This isn't just, here's a cheaper taxi. It's, here's a different way to be a citizen.
And the timing is critical. As we wrap up, we have to mention the postscript in the source material. This added a really interesting layer for me.
Oh, this part gave me chills. Bo mentions that the original conversation describing this whole system, the text we're analyzing right now, was flagged by OpenAI
Flagged and deleted.
for violating their policies. And Bo's reaction isn't to back down. He takes it as a strong hint that the time for change is right now.
It's the ultimate Streisand effect. When the system tries to suppress an idea because it's too disruptive, it usually just proves that the idea has real power. It validates that he's onto something that threatens the status quo.
So here we are, February 2nd, 2026. The proposal is on the table. Cloud Atlas OS, a 991 split, a move from corporate apps to community ownership.
It effectively asks all of us to make a choice. We complain about the UX horror show. We complain about the fees, the surveillance. But are we actually willing to make the jump?
That's the question I want to leave you with today. If the technology exists right now to give workers 99% of their earnings, if the only thing standing between a driver and a fair wage is a middleman app, is the only thing stopping this revolution our own habits? Are we just too addicted to the easy button to take actual ownership?
It's easy to be a user. It can be hard to be a citizen. But the payout might finally be worth the effort.
Power to the people, this time for real. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.